Good morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin. For those of you who have not watched my videos before, I'm an American living and working abroad in London, and while I have a full-time job now, I did move here originally as a student to do my master's degree at the London School of Economics. So today's video is all about the main differences I experienced between studying in America and studying here in the UK. Just like American university isn't all going to frat parties, it's a little bit of that, and hanging out in the quad and going to football games, so too studying in England isn't all like hanging out in Harry Potter like structures with Hugh Grant types with like perfect floppish hair and posh accents. Wish I had more of that in my life, honestly. So I hope today's video is helpful. If you're at all interested in studying in the UK, I highly recommend it. I've loved every minute of it. I also think it's a great way for Americans to move to England because getting a work visa is terrible and near impossible. So yeah, these are a few differences to look out for. I didn't know any of these. Literally showed up, could barely get to class, let alone ace my program. So I've come a long way, made it out the other side. I passed with flying colors and have my degree, so definitely give it a watch if you're interested at all in studying here, or if you just want to hear what my weird opinion is on these things. But if you like it, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know your feedback, and thank you for watching. So first up, one key word to be aware of is your degree program, which you might call program in the States. So Masters of Communication, Masters of History, and MBA. They call it a course here, and that's one thing that I was corrected on a lot. People are like, your program? What are you talking about, Erin? It sounds like you're going to a rehab program. Just call it your course. It's much easier. That's the first thing to look out for when you're scrolling through and trying to decide what to study. It's a course, not a program. Another hugely beneficial difference between studying in the UK versus the US, at least what I experienced in my master's program, it's actually much cheaper to do a degree here. I know that seems a bit counterintuitive since you are studying abroad in a foreign country and the currency is much stronger here than in America, but my degree program for a year-long master's was about £19,000, and with the currency conversion at the time that ended up being like $26,000, which is still a lot of money, and I understand that's by no means just like change. I wish it was just pocket change to me. But looking at a comparative program, however, in the States, so if say you wanted to go to USC and do a Master's of Communication, which is a really similar program to the one that I did, course, not program, course. It's really similar course to the one here I did at LSE. That would set you back about $57,000. That is not cheap at all. I understand living in London is expensive, so on top of the 26K you have to pay for room and board living here, but LA is expensive too. $57,000. That doesn't even include room and board either. So I mean, if you can afford to do a master's anywhere, it's gonna be much more affordable here, and you get to live in one of the greatest cities in the world and get international experience. So that was a main takeaway. It's surprisingly much cheaper, so don't be turned off at the beginning of your search and think, oh, I can never afford to go to school abroad. If you want to do a master's in the US, it's gonna be much more expensive anyway. Another bomb.com difference when applying to degree programs over here versus the States is that most master's programs over here don't require standardized tests. Hallelujah, GRE, get out of my life. So yeah, you don't take the GRE, you don't take the GMAT. I literally just had to do an essay explaining why I was interested in the course and what I wanted to do with it as far as furthering my career and education, and then to submit a resume, so in transcript. So you have to get good grades in undergrad, but you don't have to be a master test taker and study and pour out tons of cash on the GMAT or GRE, which literally sounds like hell on earth. So much easier to apply. Another reason that you should consider studying here. Alright, so you've successfully avoided standardized test taking hell, you've submitted your application to your preferred degree, course, program, whatever the fuck we're gonna call it. You're accepted, on your way to England, hopping the pond, you know exactly what classes you're gonna take, right? Wrong. Incorrect. That'd be too easy. So one of the big differences between studying here is that all of your elective courses you actually don't decide until a couple weeks into school starting. So we have something called a browsing period where you essentially get a little taster course of all the electives. You can go sit in, hear the teacher, hear them outline the course, what kind of lectures, readings you'll have, and then about 3 weeks in you apply and essentially send an email to every professor explaining why you should take that class and why they should accept roped you into it because there's usually a cap on students that can take electives. So I was interested in a journalism course. The professor had worked at The Guardian. I liked a lot of his readings. I went in, sat on his first lecture, verified that I was interested, and then had to send him an email essentially outlining why I would be a good fit for it. So I think it is a little bit of extra work from the get-go, which does suck. However, I think you actually have to sit down and think about why you're interested in taking classes, and you get to see the professor in action. I think that would have been really beneficial for me for some of my undergraduate courses, not naming names, accounting, which were terrible because the teacher wasn't that great. So I think it may be a little bit extra work and stress when you first arrive because you don't know exactly what you're doing yet, but in the long run, it's worth it because you're actually taking courses. Let's see how many times I can say actually in this video, but you'll be taking courses that you're interested in and that are a good fit when you know the professor will keep you awake for an hour and not be a waste of time. Alright, so once you're signed up for all of your classes, you need books, right? In America, this typically means signing away your firstborn in order to afford all of your textbooks. However, here in the UK, a key difference is I didn't have any textbooks. It was amazing, saved so much money. So what they do is they upload all the readings online to your essentially Blackboard. I forget what it was called here. I think it was like LSE for you, just like Blackboard. Moodle, that was it, Moodle. So all of your readings are uploaded on there as PDF, or you access them through your school's library, and you don't have to spend a small fortune on textbooks. It's amazing. You also don't have to deal with selling them at the end of the semester in a book that originally cost you £120, you getting $6 back for. And while I realize that I've used the word semester a few times already in this video, another big terminology difference is that it's not called a semester here, it's called a term. So instead of your fall semester, you have your Michaelmas term. Instead of your spring semester, you have your Lenten term. So kind of the religious undertone, which is a little weird because I didn't go to religious school, but another difference to look out for as far as terminology goes. Another big difference when it comes to grading over here is that you have formative and summative coursework. What that means is formative work you do throughout the term, however, usually doesn't count for a grade. You're just doing it to get feedback. So a lot of my classes, we had formative essays about midway through the term that were totally optional. You didn't have to do it. However, it was highly recommended because it was the only time you get feedback from the professor on your work before you had to do an essay that then counted for 100% of your grade. So even though formative coursework may seem like a pass because you're too busy, you're too stressed, definitely recommend doing it so you can get that feedback and then not be even more stressed and freaking out at the end of the term because you have no idea if you're on track at all. While we're on the subject of really fun things like essays and exams and grades, another terminology difference over here is that instead of grades, it's called a mark, and then the marking system is a bit different than the States. So in the States, you have 4.0, that GPA system. You also have A, B, C. Over here, the highest grade you can get is a D, which is D for distinction, not she wants the D. And then after that is M for merit, P for pass, then F for fail. Good to know that F for fail is a worldwide phenomena. But yeah, distinction is pretty difficult to get. That essentially means that your work could be published in a peer-reviewed journal, but definitely aim for that. I think most people, if you put the work in, can get a merit, so don't be discouraged. It may seem like there are less subsections, A, B, or C, but I think it's definitely not as difficult as you think. If you've gotten in, you're already halfway there, and just go for it. Go for the D, ladies. Am I right? Alright, this is more of a fun, frivolous difference now that we're finished talking about grades and not failing out of your $26,000 degree program. There are pubs on campus! Oh my god! I mean, there are pubs everywhere in England, so it's like becomes a dime a dozen, but I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know, I went to Arizona State for undergrad and we had a dry campus, and plus when you're going to school in the States, you're usually not able to legally drink until you're a junior or senior, but here you can drink at 16, 18, can't remember, but everyone at school is of legal drinking age, so there are pubs on campus. My campus had a really cheesy nightclub in the basement of the Union, and it was just kind of fun because you go and drink after class, all your friends, professors have deep philosophical conversations, or just like swipe on Bumble Bumble on your phone. Who knows what I did. But yeah, little cute difference, very English. I know all my English friends be like, Erin, what the hell, pubs, it's not a big deal. But us Americans, we find it very quaint, very cool, and I think it's a cute little difference, and I like it, okay? Alright, well I think booze is a good note to end the video on. Everyone loves alcohol, right? I hope that was somewhat informative. Sorry for rambling, but that's just who I am as a person. So hopefully if you're watching my channel, you find it somewhat bearable or maybe entertaining, who knows? But yeah, if you have any other specific questions about moving to the UK or studying, leave me a note below. I'm happy to try to help out. It's a great experience. Highly recommend it. Like I said, totally changed my life. One of the best years of my life too, by the way. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!